Hello, my friend. And today is one of those special days where Carter is gone. He's off pulling lobster pots with 3 of his friends from high school days. Isn't that amazing? To stay connected with some friends through the years as we go through all our various stages in life. And today I'm sitting by this beautiful river. The sun is out. There's a frog in front of me. He's trying to hide, but I see him. And he's nestled in a bunch of leaves that have turned color already. And one of them is a heart-shaped leaf. I find that pretty extraordinary. I'm always looking for heart-shaped things in nature. And to see a leaf that's heart-shaped is pretty interesting. If it's not a delphinium or there's another plant, anthurium, some leaves do just grow, or flowers grow, heart-shaped. Isn't that extraordinary? And we have chosen that shape to represent our heart, which is not a heart shape at all. It's a big blob of organ with all sorts of tubes and valves and dissections and membraments and chambers and valves, and it does a big job. And when it stops pumping, we're not here anymore. But today we are here, and our hearts are pumping, and the sun is out. And I'm wanting to share with you about the specialness of doing ritual. Ritual is something that a lot of people don't think that much about, but I have found that it has helped me enormously throughout my journey to get happier, to get rid of negativities, to focus on positive things instead of negative things, to get to know myself better. And in the human family, we used to have many more rituals that have been put aside for the more modern era. Everybody's so attached to news and celebrity events and what's happening in front of them that they forget about these milestones of life that begin, of course, with birth. And for some of us, there's sacred dedication that our parents do, like whether it's baptism or consecration or even circumcision or, well, hopefully not the female type. Please don't do that. But all these ceremonies that we do upon special occasions are magical and necessary, I believe, to really stay connected to the magic of life, the intense gift that life is itself. And if we don't do little things in our lives, even day to day, just to honor the connection of our humanness to the magicalness of being alive, well, some of us forget, or we get concerned with other things besides the magic of life. So I'm going to just describe to you what I did today. One of the many rituals I've done in my life, but this one is special because I'm sitting by this beautiful river where I've been swimming in and enjoying the landscape and the solitude for months now. Carter and I have been up in Maine, and this is the Presumpscot. That's an Indian tribe, and it's a big river. It empties out into the Atlantic Ocean. But where I am is, I don't know how far it is if it was a canoe ride, but it's outside of Portland. And I believe the Presumpscot empties out into Portland Harbor somewhere. So it's not a small river. It's not a gigantic river, but it's constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly filled with activity, beavers and fish and hawks and eagles and things that swim and things that fly and things that crawl and the frog who does a little bit of everything. Where he goes for the winter, I don't know. Winter is coming. It's the beginning of autumn here, and the leaves have changed. And Carter and I will be leaving soon. We will be returning to our home in Florida. And we've had a wonderful time up here. And so Today, I am here by myself while Carter's off pulling lobster pots and probably enjoying a very fresh lobster tonight for dinner with his chums. I came with the intention of letting go of some pain that I have been carrying in my heart and in my mind. You know, we all have pain, and we all have different ways of dealing with it, whether it's the pain, physical pain, where we put a Band-Aid on and just kiss the boo-boo, whatever, or take medicine, or go to see a doctor. But this is the kind of pain, it's psychic pain, that I have I want to not say plagued with, but I have been challenged with most of my life. I have just had different experiences in life where I have to do some work to let go of psychic pain. I suppose it's because I'm curious about sustaining that incredible emotion called happiness. I really do prefer happiness, or at least contentment, not to feel miserable, not to feel just exuberant, but, somewhere in the middle there, the middle way. I prefer that. And I do believe that is possible. But in order to get there, I've had to do some major house cleaning of the things that torment me throughout my life. And all during my life, I've found various ways of doing it. Once I got sober, now mind you, you must realize that I have been in recovery for 40 years now. And so I used to try to get rid of the pain I'm talking about with drugs, alcohol, bad behavior, as many of us do. But there came a time in my life 40 years ago when I said, no, that's not working anymore, and it's killing me. So I put those bad habits down and brought in some really nifty, positive, good habits, one of which is ritual, to do various rituals to eliminate the pain that is within my soul, my mind, my psyche, whatever you want to call it. I don't like to carry around negativities. I don't think it's healthy to feel insecure, for instance, or angry at someone, or resentful. And it's also very dangerous for a recovering person like myself. In the recovery rooms for which I owe my life, the 12 steps of recovery, they say that the sure way to get a slip going, meaning returning to your addiction, is to have a resentment. So no, resentments are a no-no in my book. So I'm sitting here today because I had some resentments, and I don't need to go into who and what and where and why, because that's all variable. No doubt every person has some kind of resentment. It could just be against the government or the weather. Oh my God, the weather. Blessings to all the people who have been suffering from this last Hurricane Helene. It's very much of a tragedy here where the extreme weather is causing such havoc. I have friends who had to run for their life, and fortunately they are alive, but they had to abandon their houses, and I have not yet heard if their houses were lost, but more shall be revealed. So when something negative is in my mind, I have a choice. I do not have a choice of drinking or drugging it away or acting out or just watching TV or whatever, eating it away. No, I don't want to do that. I would like to dissolve that negativity, dissolve it, and come back to the clarity of feeling connected to all that is. And in this particular place where I am, everything that is quite magnificent and gorgeous and beautiful. And it's nature. I am with nature. There's not a single thing except the iPhone in my hand that is not nature. In my 360-degree vision, not a single solitary thing that is not made by the sacredness of existence, whether you believe in a divine being or just the sacredness of life itself, it doesn't matter. We are here together to experience it. And so I came to the Riverside on this beautiful, brilliant day, thinking I could spend my day doing all sorts of things. I could have gone to a museum to see a show. I could have sat at my desk and done some incredible scribbling. Or I could have made a cake. But for me, it's most important to rid myself of this burden of mental heaviness that I've been carrying. And so first I wrote about it on my computer. I have a way of connecting with my subconscious where I go into a short meditation, following my breath. If any of you want to know more about how to do that, please check out my YouTube channel, because I put up these things called mind stillers that give very good directions how to do that under all sorts of circumstances. So first I still my mind, and I know that I have the ability to communicate between my subconscious and my fingers through the keyboard, because I've been practicing this technique for many decades. And so as I'm bringing into my conscious mind what it is that I would like to have relief from, and just not going into the thinking mode, but just the connected to my subconscious mode, and asking the wisdom that I carry within, and all of us have when we get quiet enough, asking for guidance, for insight, for help. And then only when the urge comes to me that there is something that my subconscious wishes to share. It's like an urge. I don't know if you can understand this unless you've tried it yourself, but it's almost like there's a secret inside of us that if we just ask and wait silently without any distractions, we will receive messages very clearly. And so at this point, I bring my fingers over the keyboard and I let go of that part of my mind that has to type perfectly and have perfect grammar and know what I'm saying, and just let my fingers fly, because I've trained my typing skills to do this. Now, some people might do that with writing. It's called automatic writing, but I can't do that because I've severely injured my hands many decades ago doing art too much, one of my addictions, and my hand gets crippled with writing for too long. So the keyboard is my method. So I wait for this urge to come, and when the urge is right on the tip of my needing to know, then my fingers fly, and I don't have any control or say about what comes out. I just let it rip. And it's very much, I hate to use this analogy, but it's very much like taking a cosmic shit. It feels deeply relieving. It feels so good to get it out. And it goes on as long as it needs to go on. And then when it's finished, it's complete. A fait accompli. And I'm finished, and my fingers come off the keyboard. And I wait a few moments to see if anything else arises from my subconscious, like a memory or a hint or another whisper. And if it comes, once again I return and bring it to the keyboard and make it into language in my computer. And if it doesn't, then the ritual of that is complete. And because I'm in my computer, of course, it's saved, and I file it so I can find it. And lucky me, we have a printer at the old farmhouse that we're staying because our good German friends Jans and Dani came by to visit from Europe and helped us connect with our printer the other day, which all summer we have not had a printer. And so with the push of a button, there is this letter from my subconscious to not me. In this case, it was to the object of my disturbance. Specifically, very directly, and very honestly, with no reservations. The object of my disturbance was addressed. I got out everything I needed to say. I even brought in other instances in my experience that were similar, because for those of you who know, if you're a seeker, you keep getting the same situations over and over and over again until they have given you the lesson that you need, that your soul needs to be complete, to have the purpose of why you're here, to experience that bliss of being connected to all when you have an undisturbed mind. And so I printed out the letter, and then I decided, because I was alone, I did not have to have any obligation to providing entertainment or any other service to any other human being. It was a me kind of day. I decided I was going to go to the river and do my letting go thing. And so I brought a book of matches with me. I thought I would burn the letter after reading it deeply and seeing if there's anything left that I need to add to it or scratch out. I also brought a pen. So in my pocket, I had a book of matches, a pen, the folded piece of paper, one paper that was printed on both sides. I don't know how Jens did that, but that's what the printer did. Usually it spits out 2 pages, but this time it's front and back. That's the miracle of having people who know what they're doing around. And my iPhone. The iPhone is the microphone that we have been podcasting Z Lord episodes to you, our dear friends, for the last 5 years. Isn't that amazing? That's the only equipment we've ever used. And so I came to the river, the beautiful river. And I'm glad it's a sunny day, because if it wasn't, it would be kind of morbid. But this is actually not entirely cloudless. There's one cloud right now hiding the sun, and it's going to peek out any second. But it's been mostly a blue sky day, a good day to release, a good day to bring to my heart that clarity that I'm seeking, and I will have, because that is the gift of ritual. I've done it before, and I will probably have to do it again, because that's the way life is. One thing after the next we have to deal with. So I'm sitting on this beautiful log that is where we've been swimming all summer, and I call it euphemistically my white sandy beach, but actually it's not. The sand is as white as you can expect for a river in Maine. It's, it's grayish. But there is a place where you can walk and swim, and it's a wonderful thing to find, because sometimes rivers have nothing but trees and fallen trees and bushes and cliffs, but the nature, the goddess nature, Gaia herself, has presented me with the white sandy beach that I discovered one day while swimming upstream from where we got into the river previously, and I discovered this hidden spot right on our land, so we're not invading anybody else's privacy. So I brought my letter, and when I was ready and had done a little bit of heart settling and mind clearing, so that this became a sacred time. I said, okay, I'm ready for my ritual. Got out my book of matches, got out my pen, and didn't think about the iPhone. Except I did take a picture of this beautiful spot and sent it to someone who really cherishes this place too. And then I read the letter and received my acknowledgement that it was correct, that it was true, and that I had said all I needed to say, and that I was clean about all those bad feelings that I had inside of me, got them out, verbalized them, and put it on paper so it was a real thing. It wasn't just this nebulous, fucked up feeling that I was succumbing to. And with the reality of a piece of paper, you can do whatever you want with, right? So I'm thinking, it's a beautiful day. There's a little breeze here. I don't need to have a fire. It'd be nice to rip the paper and send it off into the water of the river, which is moving ever so slowly, but there's a beautiful current today. Some days it rips when there's a lot of rain, and I imagine in the springtime it's really fierce. But today it's a gentle current. And if I was swimming, which I'm not because it's too cold for this Florida gal, tropical teZa doesn't like cold water, even with wetsuits. If I was swimming, I could easily make headway, whereas some days when the current is fierce, it's almost like swimming in place when you're fighting against the current. But in this case, I'm just watching the river go by and thinking, this is the purpose of this river's life, to move, to keep moving, to take water from one place to the next, to provide nourishment for the animals, to provide protection for others, to provide the source of water for some, to provide fun for some, to provide comfort, to provide inspiration. So much that this river can claim is its dharma, its reason for being, its purpose. And as I sit on this beautiful log that is clear, and the sand is coming up to the log, and I have a beautiful perch, and the frog is still there with me next to his heart-shaped leaf. I'm thinking about my purpose, and so happy that I do know now the purpose of my life, which is to communicate the things that I have been fortunate to learn about struggling from mental hardship and probably you would call it mental illness at one point in my life, to being free, no longer an addict, no longer acting out, no longer angry, no longer blaming others, no longer feeling a victim. My purpose is to share that however I can, through art, through books, through this podcast, through mind stillers. And today, the river has its purpose, just drifting by, moving energy. And I have my purpose. And so I decided I was going to merge with the river and have it participate in the ritual I'm doing. So I took my white piece of paper, which was printed on both sides, and started ripping it in tiny little pieces and hoping it would just catch the wind and let it go far away and drift away so I could magically say goodbye to it. But it did not do that. The pieces of paper, some of them drifted right back onto the shore. Some of them just plopped right in front of me and went into the sand. Some of them caught the wind and went away, and some of them stubbornly clung to some clump of of a water plant here where the froggy is with his leaf, his heart-shaped leaf. And after I finished ripping up my piece of heartfelt purging, that piece of paper that released me from the burden of resentment and hurt, I realized I had something else to do with my ritual, because these pieces of paper were bothersome. Here we have perfect nature. We have nothing but the sparkling sun on the sparkling water of the river as it gently moves by, surrounded by tall pines, probably the birds looking at me, wondering, what is this weird woman doing down there talking into this little machine, my iPhone. So I realized I had to do some more to move those pieces of white paper that had now sunk offshore, only, 5-6 feet, but I'm not going to go in that cold water. I'm not going to take my boots off, my walking boots. So I look for a long stick. This ritual is becoming complicated, I'm thinking, but there must be a reason why. So I'm looking for a long stick and reaching out and getting the papers to move as best I can. And I did a pretty good job, but still, there were a few pieces, long, skinny, white pieces, that plopped themselves right in front of me in this clear, beautiful river that had not seen any rain for a couple days, so the sandy bottom was not murky. But yet, I'm not happy with the way the ritual has ended, because those reminders of my letting go were too blatant. They were there. Like, I don't want to think, oh, I've got more work to do. I have to get rid of it again. So I took a stick, another stick, this time sturdier, and started messing up the sand, like going back and forth. Swoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The sandy bottom became a tornado. The sandy bottom right in front of me. All the rest is clear and pristine for miles and miles, but yet I created this storm, this tornado, this hurricane teZa right here, thinking that the mud that I'm kicking up with my stick is going to help me to release the remnants of my letter. And I was right. The storm was created, and suddenly there was just nothing but gray, murky muddiness on the spot where I am, and the frog is looking at me saying, what the heck are you doing now? He's very curious. He's just been here the whole time I'm talking to you. His eyes peeping out. And he's looking at me and I'm looking at him. And he's trusting the process. Because slowly, little by little, I'm standing on top of the bank now that's secured by this log, this heavy log that's holding in the white sandy beach. It will never fall into the river as long as this log is here to secure it, like a bulkhead. And I'm seeing that the cloudiness around where I was trying to eradicate the white paper is like the way I am when I'm confused. Everything is cloudy. Everything is obfuscated. Everything is obscure. Nothing is clear. But yet it's temporary. And as I'm watching, I've put down my stick now. I'm seeing that the current of the river, which in this case is like life, is like the experience of nature. It's continuing. It hasn't stopped. It's not looking at this spectacle. It has clarity. It has movement. It has energy. And little by little, moment by moment, the cloudiness is dissipating. And the sand kernels, grains of sand that I had kicked up intentionally, are settling. Just like we do in life as we learn more and more how to trust that clear connection with nature, where we are all one and we're all interconnected through the consciousness of love, 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 which is consciousness, which is life, which is breath, which is ours to choose. And slowly the obfuscation cleared, and slowly the water came back. Not that long. It's really only been 10 minutes since I did that. From when it was cloudy to when it became clear again. Nature took care of it. I became clear again. I released the negativity within me, and I created this ritual that I'm sharing with you today. And I hope that I've inspired you to try a ritual of your own. If you are carrying any type of any negativity, you must get it out of your heart, of your mind, of your soul, because that is our job, to be here on earth, to find the clarity that is ours for the asking. And I feel so much better. And I'm glad to have shared this with you, because I would never be able to share this with you if Carter was here, because we always get into conversations, and this is not a conversation. This is me describing an event that I created, a ritual that I have manifested, and now it is complete because I have shared it with you. The ritual of making it become part of the consciousness that is available to all of us. My breath has returned to peacefulness. I am at peace. And you are at peace. We are all one, and we are all connected in peace and love. This is my ritual. Om Namah Shivaya.